folks, back to Dragonfire darting. This video is a follow-up to the first one I did about going back to basics, and I'd like to embellish some of the points I made in that video here and now. So one thing I didn't mention was when you first started out, choose a dart that's medium weight, medium shafts, whatever size flights, probably standard or maybe a small standard or sometimes called a shape. I use what I call a neutral barrel. It's straight parallel, just simple rings around the barrel. And here we go. These are what I made my custom darts out of. These are designer Spectra. They're fairly cheap barrels, or inexpensive, should I say, and they have quite a bit of grip on them. But as with any darts, the more you use them, this grip is going to wear down. Now, I did mention that use a medium weight barrel, maybe 23, 24 grams. These are actually 26 grams because I discovered that a heavier dart for me flies a little straighter through the air, a little smoother. So like I said, these are what I use to start designing my custom barrels. And this is what they turned out to be. Let's see if I get them a little closer to the camera. Peter Pereira up in Canada made them. He actually had a set of these designer Spectras in stock, and he imitated the grip on the barrel of my dart. And as you can see, we put a scallop in the middle because that's where I hold my dart. When I hold my dart, I'm actually gripping where the taper of the nose of the dart ends. So the middle of my finger and thumb are actually on that spot right there, and the back of my finger is inside the scallop, like this. Now, when you first made them, these spikes in the middle of the scallop were pointed, but I couldn't feel this part of the barrel right there, so I kind of put them on my lathe, I flattened them off a little bit, and now it's more of a proper scallop. And like I say, that's why I hold my dart like that. Plus, just that, it's kind of floppy, but if I put my middle finger on the end, it holds the dart steady. So currently, I'm using the Harrow's click system, spinning lights. And unfortunately, the shafts only come in three lengths, 23, 30, and 37. These are the 37 millimeter shafts. That's the longest they come in. These are the slim shafts. You can buy standard shafts, which are a straight barrel without the thin part in the middle. But we'll get back into shafts and flights a little bit later in the program. So I did use the Cosmo Fit Flight system, and they do come in 8 different lengths, going from, I think, the 13 millimeters to 42.5 millimeters. So it's a good range of flights and shafts you can buy from Cosmo, but I prefer these flights because they do have a built-up edge. I use the, flimsy kind of, so they will get out of the way a little easier with the following dart. So you have your darts in hand. You stand there, get the throw line, or the aki as we call it. And like I said before, your stance must be relaxed and comfortable. Put your weight slightly on the front foot. Your back foot is about shoulder width at the most behind your front foot, but don't lean too far forward. The more you lean forward, the more your back foot is going to come off the ground. I mean, it's okay for the heel to come off the ground. As long as your toe is firmly planted on the floor, you'll do just fine. So now you're getting ready to throw the darts at the board. So when you draw back with your throwing arm, what I do, since I throw from the side of my face, when my arm gets back to here, I try to look at the side of my eye so I can see the darts and make sure it is pointing where I'm aiming at. If I'm aiming at the 20, it's so easy when you draw back, to be a little comfortable like this. And you can see where my fingers are pointing off to the side of the board. You have to turn your wrist so your palm is open to the board. So when you throw it, it goes where you're aiming. If your elbow moves or your wrist moves, it could go in the 5, the 1, even the 18 and the 12. You must keep your elbow steady. When you follow through, it's automatically going to go raise up a little bit. It's just natural. You follow, your palm is open to the board, throw the darts. And your hand should be pointing at the target after you have released your dart. And any follow through, because if you release before your arm gets past vertical, because if you get past vertical, your darts are going to go down. Let me see if I can get a little close. Your darts are going to go down. If you let go just before you get to vertical, and the point of your dart is pointing up a little bit, your dart will naturally go in an arc, and then you can adjust your throw depending on where the darts land. But again, we'll go on to that a little bit later when I discuss how I throw and what I do when it doesn't go where I want it to do. So, one thing I would like to stress during these videos that I post is that anything I say is purely my own thoughts, my own ideas. I'm just an average dart player, and I throw a lot of inconsistent darts. And these videos about what I'm trying to do to solve that problem with inconsistency. The most important thing in playing darts is the 3 P's. That is practice, practice, practice. So, and the third video in this series is about what I actually do to try and solve the problems I have. So until then, happy darting, practice, and we'll see you soon.